Hey everybody, it's me Amanda with Once in a Wild, and welcome back to another Once in a Wild Wednesday. We have another special guest sitting right next to me, and Ghost is here as well. So welcome back if you have been here before. We broadcast each and every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're located in South Texas, in San Antonio, Texas. And if this is your first time visiting, welcome. We're happy to have new friends, family, and followers that we make each and every week. So without further ado, let's go ahead and I think we should begin. Alrighty, welcome everybody. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, make sure that you are following us on Facebook and make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube channel. That is a free way to help us out. But you can also donate to our little zoo. We are a mobile zoo with lots and lots of animals. I was just telling our special guest about our animal collection, and she's familiar with us, but she was just asking about it. And some ways that you guys can help us out is through donations. One is going to be Venmo, Cash App, and we also have a PayPal too. And then we have an Amazon wish list found at onceinawhile.com. All of those links are down below in the description, as well as down below here in the pink bar, right? So very easy to find. Another great way to help us out is by booking your own animal encounter, whether it be virtual like this. We can do a Zoom encounter for those of you that are social distancing right now. We totally understand. Or if you happen to be outside of Texas and you can't come and see us in person, that is okay. We have Zoom rooms, emphasis on Zoom rooms, where you can actually pick your own animal menagerie to meet. You can meet usually up to 8 animals per hour. And those are really, really also inexpensive for you as well. So please let me know if you're interested in those. But we also have in-person animal encounters for those of you in our kind of window of cities in South Texas. We can help you out in person too. So that's another great way to help us out. I think that's all I need to remind everybody
you rushed through that.
Yeah, I do it. I've done it over 100 times now.
Wow.
Way more than that, actually.
That's
I think we have 100 on our playlist on YouTube. So check it out. If you want to check out our past videos, they always upload right over there to YouTube. I was like trying to figure out how to say that right. They're on there, and there is a playlist of all of our live streams. We have a lot of collaborations as well that we've been doing lately with special guests, and I'm really excited to have Sandra on the show today. Hello, Sandra. Yay! So me and Sandra actually already know each other, and why don't you introduce yourself to everybody that may not know you, and explain yourself. Who are you?
Who am I?
What are you doing here?
So yeah, I'm Sandra Christian. I'm the owner of SkyLine Canopies.
Aha.
And I'm born and raised in Sweden. You didn't know that?
Oh, I knew you were from somewhere.
Yes.
You have a beautiful
Somewhere
accent.
else.
The beautiful accent gave it away.
Yes. So yeah, I'm born and raised in Sweden. My whole family's over there, friends and family. I came over to US 2009, and since then I've followed my love around.
Your love.
Military family.
Oh, I see. That makes sense.
So, and then almost 4 years now, we've been in New Braunfels, Texas.
Wow. So what brought you to New Braunfels? Was it the military kind of area? I know San Antonio is very Air Force.
Right.
Heavy.
It was, of course, military relocation for my husband.
Okay.
But prior to that, I was a nanny up in Boston. And throughout the other locations that we've been through, I've been in grocery, bookstore management, and Hobby Lobby management, and insurance admin. So that's pretty cool. A couple of things that I've done throughout the years.
Super cool. Mm-hmm. So, your husband, what branch of the military is he in?
He's Air Force.
Air Force.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you for your service, sir.
He recently retired.
Oh, very good. He's free. Hooray.
He's always been free, but
yeah, true.
No, he's done his service, and we're ready to do our thing now together. And,
excellent. So what is that? What are you doing lately?
So 5 years ago, I started SkyLine Canopies, and that was when we were stationed in Florida. And I just saw the need of smaller business needed to be branded and visible in their communities. So my husband, he supported that, and I was able to run with it. Then our last year in Florida, then we relocated here, and I hit the ground running and networked my way around. I love the area, and there's so much opportunities, many opportunities, so many businesses around, nonprofits. markets and activity events. So yeah, I just walked around and saw everything happening, and spread the word about SkyLine Canopies. Now that he is retired, we are doing it somewhat together, but he also wants to do insurance, commercial insurance. And surprise, surprise, on the side business, we're selling flavored peanuts.
I heard about this right before the program. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. So you came from
everything.
Yes, no problem. You came from Sweden to Boston. Was that your first transition into the U.S.? Had you visited the U.S. before?
I had been one more time before that. I was over 5 weeks during my college years as a teacher student.
Okay. And that was in Boston or somewhere else?
Hagerstown, Maryland.
Maryland. So you went from Maryland to Boston. I'm trying to think of the weather change.
I know, right?
Because Sweden obviously gets warm, but it gets cold.
Yes.
And it's very hot here.
All 4 seasons, for sure.
Right.
So no, I didn't mind either location. I love Boston.
Very good.
Being part of the half Swedish Jewish family that I was hosted by. Loved every minute of it. They took very good care of me. So I stayed for my 2 years. Good. With them. But no, and then travel has just moved us around. We were in Longview, Texas for a little bit.
Where's Longview at?
It's East Texas.
Okay.
Dallas out 20.
Okay.
Almost to Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
And then we were blessed with Florida, which was Cocoa Beach. And
Florida.
I don't know if you've seen all the NASA stuff and all that. We were right there with it. Cool. So yes, we enjoyed that, and we made a lot of friends there. So that was hard to leave. Yeah. But no, we absolutely found our home here, and we've met a lot of great friends and business owners around, and it just keeps on growing.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I love Florida. I actually lived in Florida in Jacksonville, which I didn't really care for. Sorry, Jacksonville. It's not my favorite. That's too city for me. I love the beach, and I love the Florida weather where it's like warm all the time, but it rains every day. So you get like plant growth, and it's gorgeous. I lived in Gainesville when I was in school for zoology. And I've lived in, on the Florida-Georgia border as well. So I'm familiar with the weather. It's beautiful. I love the tropics.
Yes. No, the beach, absolutely.
Yes.
I've enjoyed that, and we were part of a running community out there too.
Okay.
So that was another thing that we did.
You still run now?
I don't.
That's okay. I don't run at all, and I never have. I've never been a runner. I've ran before, but I've never enjoyed it.
I don't mind running, but it's been less and less. And I bet the community that we had in Florida was a very good influence on that part of my life. But I had a year where it was a month that I asked my friends, they're like, how many miles can I run in this month? And it was August. It was probably 2 years ago. And I put it out there, and they're like, you can run 100 miles. I'm like, maybe. So I put it on my schedule. So I actually put it on my schedule, and I made it happen. So in 1 month, I ran 100 miles. Yeah. It was fun.
I guess if you put your mind to it, you can do anything.
In the Texas heat.
Oh, that was in Texas. Oh my! I was thinking Florida. No. Ricky's saying hi from all of our different angles. There's Ricky again. Hello Ricky. And he's waving. And this is my mom. My mom always watches the show as well. Hi, Mom. This is Sandra. I'm sure you'll meet here at some point.
That's awesome.
Well, very cool. So what SkyLine Canopies, what all services do you guys provide? Where can people find you?
Yeah, so like I said, SkyLine Canopies has been around for 5 years now. It's been me, myself, and I trying to build it up. And we've serviced any nonprofit, government organizations, schools, real estate professionals, any service that wants to get out in the community and be seen. If they do their own open houses, for example, or if they're a restaurant that wants to be more visible from the traffic by any chance. So we have our biggest product is the pop-up canopies that are custom. And I know you guys know, I'm very familiar with that now. But yeah, 10 by 10s, 10 by 15, 10 by 20s. And of course, fully custom. So we walk you through the process. And then we have our most popular item, I would say, is our stretch table covers.
Love those. We have one of those too. Yes. I wish I should have like thought ahead and like put a picture on here, but if you guys go to our Instagram, especially, you can actually see, and Facebook too, wherever you guys go on our social media. Obviously, check them out too. SkyLine Canopies. They're all over the place. but we have pictures of our tablecloth on there. I know we do. Yes. And we just got a brand new canopy. It's, I guess, the biggest one that you guys sell, which I didn't know.
Yes.
Ricky made this decision. He said, we're getting the biggest one, and
I'm going all in on it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yes. But it's huge.
It sure is. So table
the
covers,
flag.
Sure. And this is something that we give to our new clients. New clients get a mini flag. It's a table size flag with your brand on it, of course. So we want to support your efforts, and
you guys do the flags too, the big flags.
Yes.
So like picture this but big.
Yes. Feather flags in all different shapes.
Hi, Tammy.
She's watching. And then what else do we have? We have backdrops,
cool.
banner stands, the ones that you roll up. So if you have some information you want to put out there. No, that's awesome. You can find really good. I've used that one in many of my lives or Zoom calls.
Yeah, it's easy.
Like you just put it out, or go to networking event, for example. You just pop that with you, or if you have a what's it called, a presentation or performance.
I use it all the time, especially indoors, because it does blow in the wind. Right. That's the only thing that we put it up anyway, and it goes like this. And people will see your logo on the back, and I say that's where we got it. But anyway, we use it all the time.
So there's a lot of products that we have available. So just go to SkyLineCanopies.com.
Yeah.
And
good website.
Yes. Very easy to remember. And we have a lot of contact information there too. Like you can reach us in all different social media platforms. We're Facebook, Instagram, very heavy on the activity there.
And you're very responsive. That's one thing that I love about you guys is you can message them and they're like, at your service, like immediately, pretty much.
I might not answer in the middle of the night.
No, of course not. Unless maybe they're in Sweden. And they're like,
I've actually worked from Sweden too, so it works. But yes, another time zone. But no, I treat our clients as I want to be treated.
Good for you.
And that's why the responsiveness comes in. But I do my best to find answers and be as colorful as I can with the client. Offering the opportunity to be that, and just be creative.
Super cool. I'm just gonna set this aside just for now. We might pull it back out again. So what made you want to kind of switch gears? I think you mentioned it a little bit. Obviously, you were in store management and just kind of like, well, I need something new. Or did you want to just own your own business? Because that's partially why we opened up as well.
No, that's a great question. I was working for, of course, the man, and I had great leaders in front of me. It just
nothing wrong with that either.
No. I've been very fortunate throughout the years of being in other positions work, but there was an opportunity that presented itself when my husband was in recruiting and marketing.
Oh, okay.
And he saw he brought something home, and he told me that we probably just needed to create a website. And I ran with the idea of being helpful to other businesses. And like I said, just a table cover can do so much for a small business. When they go to a market and you see someone who is not branded and they have a blank, potentially a black or a plastic table cover.
No judging, but
that has no brand on them,
right?
And you walk up to them and you're like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
So I wanted to be that support for that business, and I ran with the idea of having that available for as many as I could.
So how many clients would you say y'all have?
So in the 5 years.
Just curious.
Yeah. No, I think I've worked with.
I don't know how many clients I have. I'm
No, but in total, during my 5 years, I probably worked with close to 250 brands.
Wow.
And it's anything, like I said, from startups to situated
Mhm.
government contracts that need the support from a small business like myself.
Totally. And you guys are very affordable, we found, and very high quality. That was something I
Yes.
noticed immediately because we had actually another tablecloth
Mhm.
that was okay.
Mm.
I don't even know where it was from. Ricky got it, on the spot for us to have something because we had to have something. We had a purple tablecloth, which is once in a while.
But you guys are colorful, so
But
you
we
attract
got,
people that way too.
it looks like this now. The whole
Right.
thing looks like this. Check it out on Instagram. You can see the difference. I'm sure we have the original one, and then nothing wrong with it. It just needed a revamp, but the quality of y'all's tablecloth is 100 times better.
Appreciate that. Yeah,
no holes so far, so good. If it gets dirty, you just wash it.
Yes.
I mean, if an animal bites it, we can't help it there. But I'm talking about from stretching it around the legs of the table.
I love the stretch. I sell that any day of the week for
great
sure.
Stretch. And it's even got little footies on the bottom where you put the table feet.
Yep.
Feet, right? The legs have the feet hit the bottom of the ground or the floor, and it has these little rubber feet.
Yes.
What do you call those? Are they feet?
I would say feet.
Stopper things. Great. You can throw it right in the wash if you need to wash it. Highly recommend. At least get a tablecloth.
Yes.
If you have a business of any kind.
Yes. Table covers is the basic.
Step one.
I totally understand if a new startup can't afford a canopy at the first. But
especially that 10 by 20.
Yeah.
Golly.
The good thing is with the products that we have available is that you are investing back into your brand.
Totally.
It's not promo items I'm okay with, but you kind of hand those out.
Yeah.
And the
money
flyers
and things, cards,
and hopefully
you have to have that too. But
yes, but the products that we promote and have available for our clients is things that you can reuse for a long time, and it represents you.
Yes.
So, and our hashtag is Be Bold, Stand Out.
Very good. And you guys have bright colors as well.
Yes.
So you're wearing literally your work shirt today.
Yes.
Fitting right in with Once in a Wild.
I didn't blend in today, so
Once in a Wild.
Yes.
Yay. And of course Ricky did all of our branding, but I had a little say so in there too. I mean, I'm not gonna,
bright colors
horn too much, but
I admit when I think you and I crossed paths. Probably social media was our first.
I think so too.
Probably followed and stalked you guys.
I don't remember. Stalker. Friendly stalker. Was it the live stream show or was it before that?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
I don't even know where I'm at the time.
And then I've seen
life.
you. And then I've seen you guys out and about, and you've been part of many events.
Yeah, Pet Fest was the one I remember you being at.
Yes, and I admit that I did have a brand crush.
What does that mean? What's a brand crush?
No, a brand crush is a brand that I really, really want to work with.
Oh, I see.
And I see them as they're active out there in the community, and they're colorful. And yeah, I just want to work with them.
Well,
so
now you
brand crush,
and it won't end. I promise.
Yes.
I forget what else I was going to ask you. Oh, let's talk about Pet Fest and Kids Fest.
Sure.
So Kids Fest is coming up in November. A little while. You guys have time. That's going to be a public event for you guys. Please make sure you stay tuned to our website. Number one, the website will always have the public events on there. The next one coming up is the Once Upon a Party Bippity Boppity Boo Fest. Can't miss
I've
that.
heard about that. Yeah.
And that one's going to be a lot of fun on a Friday night, the 29th, at the Botanical Gardens here in San Antonio. So don't miss that. But then I think the next one that we have planned so far is the New Braunfels Kids Fest.
Yes.
And then when is Pet Fest again? I forget.
So Pet Fest is coming up next year.
Okay, great. So we have plenty of time.
Yes, plenty of time. But we are getting a lot of vendors already.
For Kids Fest or for Pet Fest? Both?
Both. So I'm not going to put it too much in for Kids Fest because I know that Tammy's is going to be a guest coming next month here. So you'll get more from her.
Yes.
But
I just thought of it.
We are locking in a lot of neat vendors, and we have amazing sponsors. Next Level Orthodontics is the title sponsor for this year. But I'm just super excited. I am going to host a mascot parade.
Oh, I know. I remember that. Yeah.
I had it first at Pet Fest, and it was so much fun.
Is that the first time?
That was the first time. So I was like, let's do mascot parade 2.0 for Kids Fest. And we're going to do it both days. Yeah. Both days.
Kids and pets.
Yes. So I want to invite everyone, absolutely, come out to Kids Fest. And early on, I know Saturday we open the door at 10. And Sunday is open the door at 11.
We're doing both days.
Yes.
Once in a while we'll be there doing all the things.
Yeah. So that one is nbkidsfest.com. Is all the information on there. I love what Hill Country Conference is doing. Amazing.
Tammy. Thanks, Tammy.
So I locked arms. I locked arms with them. And so if you're a vendor out there that needs a home, needs come somewhere home. and want to be visible in New Braunfels area, absolutely lock arms with Hill Country Conferences.
Perfect.
But they have so much more. We're going to do a braid bar battle at my booth. So I've invited some local salons, and they're going to be at my booth.
That kind of braid.
Yes, like braid bar battle. And they're going to do a fundraiser where they put, anyone who comes through our booth, they can braid their hair or kind of style it a little bit, be creative with it.
I personally have long hair.
Right? So you should come by that booth experience there.
Partake.
Right? And then all the funds go to one or both, or who knows, of the event beneficiaries, which is NB Food Bank and Room Redux.
Okay.
Those are two that you need to get on this show too. Okay. Yes.
Ricky, are you paying attention? Write it down.
NB Food Bank. Louie is out there. And then Rim Redux, Susie should absolutely be your upcoming guest.
Remind him after the show.
Amazing.
That sounds great. And we're always looking for new guests. There's just only so much time.
Right.
In our life, right?
Yes.
But there's always the future. We're not going to stop once in a wild Wednesday. We haven't stopped, even though we're back out there in person again. Right. I didn't really want to, and I'm glad I haven't.
And you mentioned guests on. You mentioned Pet Fest.
Yes.
A combination there, NB Food Bank. They have something called Daisy Cares. Oh. And it's for pets. They
food
collect
for pets.
Food for pets and trinkets that you need for pet owners, because we have
donated items.
That, and they will continue to be our partner probably for Pet Fest coming up in April 2022. So we'll see you guys there too.
Okay, now we have to talk about the other endeavor that you were talking about. The little snacks that you guys sell.
Yeah, I can.
So tell me about that. Okay, so how long have you been doing this?
Not very long, but I think if I mention, so Donovan is our friend. He is in Florida, and he's been doing, his brand is called D's Nuts. And he has flavored peanuts. It's 6 flavors.
Oh, I did it wrong.
He's getting a shout out here, so let's.
I did it wrong. I'm gonna do it again.
Grab nuts.com.
Here, I will do that.
Yes.
So, is it just peanuts?
.com. It's just peanuts, but it's 6 flavors. Yes, Tammy, you're right. Everybody loves these nuts. And we came across him.
It's not what you think out there with dirty minds.
It's amazing. There are 6 flavors, and we started selling them for our friend Donovan back in March.
Okay.
And it's just amazing. It's a great brand. Everyone, when they see it, they just run up and want to taste it. And
I bet.
Yes. So we started that back in March, and it's a side hustle of ours. Yay! Look at that. So why not give Donovan and D's Nuts a shout out here? And we've gone to markets. Recently was last week. We went to Kamal County Fair, and that was a really good one. There was a lot of people that came up, and they're like, "Oh, we've seen this brand. We want to taste them."
How old is that brand?
Just 5 years. So similar to SkyLine Canopies.
So that name wasn't taken yet?
I guess not.
How is that possible?
I know.
How was once in a while not taken either? I don't know.
There's a lot of like similarities. It's like THEEZ. with Z.
Not to be confused with D's.
No, he's doing a great job. And yeah, we just acquired the product to Texas. So
I love it.
Go and check out In Distribution Wholesale if you guys want to get any here in Texas.
In Distribution Wholesale.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. I'm trying to think what else I have questions for you. Now I'm stumped after these nuts discussion.
But when it comes to to bring it back to where I'm from, I am born and raised in Sweden, but I grew up on a farm.
Oh, very good.
So animals have always been in my life.
What kind of animal?
I would say we've had dogs, we've had cats, we've had chickens. Because of the farm, we had cows too.
And what kind of farm was it? Was it dairy?
It was dairy.
Okay.
Yes, dairy. And they're still our neighbors are still dairy kind of farmers. But when my mom took over, we got horses.
Yay! I love horses.
So we have horses, and I think I was maybe 6-7 years old when she brought me to a horse school class to ride. And,
I did that as well. Growing up.
And I love speed. So I'm not
go.
I prefer to go faster than just let's
the
settle
fancy
down
riding
here. So that and jumping.
Okay.
And then growing up we had several dogs, and now we have one dog.
That's
my
what I was
husband
going to
and I.
ask you. Do you have any pets? What kind of dog?
We have a dingo.
You have a dingo?
I think.
Or at least a dingo something. Part
She
dingo.
was, so when we got her, she's a rescue.
Okay.
And she's been with us for the past 9 years now. So her name is Sadie Mae.
Sadie Mae.
She's a Texas lady.
If you're watching.
Yes. She's a Texas lady. We got her in Longview, Texas. And she's been with us, and she's amazing. But when we first got her, they had her down as a lab mix, but her ears are sticking out and her tail is
everything's a lab mix in a shelter.
It was not. And then my husband's office partner brought up that she looks kind of like a dingo. And we looked it up and we saw the history behind it is Carolina dogs.
Okay, fair
and
enough.
They were brought over.
Yeah.
They were brought over from Australia and used at the swamps.
Okay.
And she doesn't like water, so she's not a lab at all that's come to. But no, she's familiar with that. And then she's also similar to like a herding dog, like a red heeler mix kind of. So she's special.
I'm gonna have to meet your dog.
Yes,
at some point. We have 3 dogs here.
Okay.
They're not part of Once in a While. They're just part of the family. They were before Once in a While and everything. We have 2 border collies and 1 schnauzer.
Nice.
And
what's the names?
The border collies are T-Bird and Elvis, and then the schnauzer is Oliver.
Nice.
So Ricky, when we met over 7 years ago, he already had Oliver, so that was his dog. And my dogs were the border collies.
Nice.
They're all good dogs.
Dogs.
Yes, dogs are great. I like cats too. I'm a cat person actually, but Ricky's allergic to cats. But I can't complain because now we have a whole bunch of animals in our own business with the animals. So
because you mentioned how many animals do you have?
About 100 animals here at Once in a While. That does include animals like bugs.
No.
And tarantulas and scorpions. Your favorite.
Oh wow. I was a little scared.
Those count. They count as animals. So
I even called bugs animals too. I was like, oh.
Yeah. They are. They're not vegetables or minerals.
Right.
So right.
They're animals.
Well, very good. Well, shall we talk about animals now? That was a great segue from D's Nuts to from SkyLine, from Sweden, all the way from Sweden.
Yes.
Where's your husband from? That's what I was going to ask you.
Oh, he's Texas.
Oh, okay. Hi,
Fort Worth, Texas. Yeah, and his family's here, so we're close by to them.
Fantastic. What's his name?
Sean.
Sean.
Hi,
Sean.
Yes.
Very, very good. Okay. Thanks for telling your whole life story. That was fantastic. I love hearing about that. If you want to talk some more about it, go for it.
Yeah.
But I figure we talk about some animals now. So this
like
little girl is hiding way on the other side of her tank. So, whoa, she's hungry today. So we'll definitely give her a snack They're not the smartest animal ever, so she's actually grabbing her fake plant. They do not eat fake plastic plants. That's hard to say. But we'll let her spit that out when she figures out it's not food. There we go. They're not herbivores either. They're actually carnivores, but she thought I was going to feed her. I was just trying to move her over here. Come on, Ghost. This is Ghost. Oh, there we go. Very enthusiastic. They are an axolotl. She's an axolotl. She's a girl. She's around 5 or 6 years old now, and they can live pretty long lives into their late 20s or so. So she's still pretty young. She is pretty. Bye. I guess you're leaving again. See ya. They are pretty much the size when they are fully grown, though. Yeah. She is a mature female, and they're not normally this color.
No.
So a lot of people are familiar with them being the white with like the dark eyes and the red gills. The things on the side of her head are gills. Come back. Come back. We'll feed you a snack. Don't be offended. Oh my. She's very hungry. Fast. They can be fast when they want to be. Let's give her a snack before she leaves. Sure. So her favorite snack, everybody's favorite snack, and Ricky's favorite animal, worms. Yum. Just kidding. Ricky hates worms. He's afraid of them. Oh, wow. So I always like to tell him, here's the worm, Ricky. Here it is.
Oh, wow.
There it is. It's alive. See it wiggling?
Yeah.
These are live mealworms. Whoa. And I'm going to give her one. It's her favorite treat. Here you go, Ghost. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yum, yum, yum. So they are a type of salamander, which is a type of amphibian, like a frog. Yeah. So they're related to frogs. Frogs, newts, salamanders, toads, all those guys are amphibians. Every amphibian of all of those I listed starts their life the same way, in their mommy's tummy. And then they are born as an egg, or they're laid as an egg, right? So mom will lay lots and lots of eggs. In most amphibians cases, there are exceptions. Some amphibians lay just a couple of eggs at a time, but that's really rare. Most amphibians, like fish, have lots of eggs. Yeah. So in axolotl's case, same thing. They will have eggs under the water, and then the egg will hatch, right? You know what it is called when they hatch?
No.
It's a tadpole. You've heard of a tadpole before, right?
That's a word.
Tadpole.
I didn't.
It's like a worm. It looks like a worm. It looks like a larva.
Oh, it's like a head with a tail. Yes.
It's like a worm underwater, right? A swimming worm, and that is called a tadpole or larva. And that's how they start their life, and then they start changing. They're going to grow legs. Yes. They're going to look very different as they grow bigger, of course. And most amphibian babies, when they're tadpoles, turn into like a frog that can go on land. Oh, she's not going to do that.
Oh, she's not?
They stay in the water their whole life.
But she has claws or something.
They do. So that's going to be kind of just like something that their relatives would have, like a frog. Okay. The axolotls actually a pretty new species in evolution, evolutionarily speaking. They're not as ancient as like other amphibians, but they still have like claws like other amphibians do, just tiny ones, nothing sharp or anything. They can walk along the bottom of the river where they're from. Do you want to guess where they're from? It's not Sweden.
Is it Africa?
That's a great guess. They're actually from the New World.
Oh, what?
Mexico.
Oh.
They're from Mexico. So not the old world, but the New World, right? So Central America, South America. Oh, okay. Well, technically Mexico's North America if you're being really, really literal, but Central America, let's just say that. So they're from Mexico. They're only from one little tiny spot in Mexico City. Okay. And Mexico City is big. It's one of the biggest cities in the world. But there's the Xochimilco River Canal, which is like a tiny little, just like a little, almost like a lake within a river system. It's just like a tiny little riverbed. And that's where these guys are from. Only from there. So they're not very common in the wild at all. In fact, they're a critically endangered species. So they are pretty common in zoos and aquariums and in the pet trade now, which is so interesting to me. They're very easy to breed because they have so many babies. You can have like 200, 500 eggs at once. That's a lot of babies. So when raised in, not like a chicken. When they're raised in human care, there's lots of babies potentially, right? So the species is doing okay in captivity, but out in the wild, really bad. Oh. So they have like that one little area where I keep doing this, but it's like a little network of like a little pocket in the river, basically, where they're kind of fused off from the rest of the river system, so they can't really leave and they can't really go anywhere else. They stay there, and it's very cold as well. They like their water cold. Okay, it's about 55 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit in their waters where they live, and she likes the water to be cold. She wants another worm now. They are going to be only in the water, like I said, and they eat things like larvae of mosquitoes, worms, bugs that land on the water surface, fish underwater. They might eat other amphibians too.
What's the red, like?
Those are her gills. That's how they breathe.
Huh.
So like a fish, they have gills, And but her gills stick out instead of being covered like a fish. A fish will have like these little flaps that cover their gills and you can't really see them.
Yeah.
But you can see a fish breathing like that. So her gills just stick out on the sides. There's 3 on each side of her face, and all those red things are basically telling you that there's oxygen going through them. So that tells you she's been moving around. We saw that, right?
Yeah.
And she's breathing a lot. There's a lot of oxygen in her gills right now.
Mm-hmm.
You guys don't have anything to say out there, feel free to make sure you leave a comment and question about ghosts if you have any, but we'll just keep talking. Their eyes do not blink like most fish or aquatic amphibians too. They don't need to blink. They're underwater all the time. They don't need to moisturize their eyes, right? They have a great sense of smell. Not the best vision, but they do see. And they have a great sense of touch as well. She probably feel the vibrations of the water and everything when I was feeding her these worms.
Right. That might be the next product.
These worms.
These worms.
That's so cute. So they are critically endangered species. Like I said, they don't really have very much space to live in the wild. But they're also affected by trash in the water, temperature change, climate change. It's warming in their water, so not good for them. Toxins in their water, like all kinds of chemicals that humans have put there, and also something called invasive species. Do you know what that means?
Someone that eats them?
Correct.
Okay.
So other animals that don't belong there that might eat the axolotl, or at the very least eat the food of the axolotl too much.
I see.
And then they don't have success in the wild. So things like carp and tilapia, which are big fish that people fish for. Back in the day, there's a bunch of them released into the river system, and they made their way into the habitat of the axolotl and have done very well. And the axolotl, of course, gets eaten and things like that. So not good, but it's not all sad. They're doing very well in the care of humans, like I said. So they're never going to go extinct totally, but they're almost extinct in the wild. So over a survey of 20 to 25 years, I think it was, they went from 6,000 per square kilometer to 35 per square kilometer, 35 individuals. So very rare now.
Yeah. So is it, so you guys took Ghost in when you
so she's not from the wild, but that's a great question. But they're great for education, so we can talk about them and let people know that they do exist in the wild. Ghost in the wild would probably not live very long because she's white. So she is actually the wrong color to be a wild animal. This is only seen in human care. She's a golden albino, very pretty. Wow. And like I was saying before, I lost my train of thought. They a lot of people do recognize the white axolotls from like art and Instagram and cartoons and things, or maybe Minecraft. I heard they're a Minecraft character now on that video game. I've never played Minecraft in my life, but very popular nowadays with the kids. But most people see them as color, but in the wild, they're dark. They're like almost black, and they're spotted a little bit. So that helps them to blend in. You know, they can camouflage, right? And usually they're going to live by themselves, kind of in their own little section of their own little world in there and in the river. And super cool animal. One of my favorite animals. I even have a tattoo of one right here. And that's awesome. Yeah.
How much does she eat?
They don't eat very often. In the wild, they're going to eat whenever they get the opportunity. Something goes by, but they may not eat every day because food can be scarce, right? We feed her about 3 times a week.
Okay.
And right now she's getting treats. So this wouldn't be like an everyday thing. It's just a sometimes snack. So the worms are actually pretty fatty, so you don't want to overdo it with the worm, but she's being such a good girl. Oh, yum. And she's very enthusiastic about eating today. They don't actually have any teeth, so if I were to get bitten, it wouldn't hurt me. But it's just easier to feed her on tongue so I don't get startled and splash everyone. Splash zone. And it is quick, so it startles me when she eats.
Super fast.
But even though they don't have teeth, they can still like kind of slurp it in and chomp it up. And they swallow it.
Yeah.
Yum. Their scientific name is Ambystoma mexicanum, which means Mexican glutton, essentially.
Oh.
In Latin.
Did not know that.
So
I'm learning so much today.
Yeah. So
sure.
What other questions do you have about her?
I see a question on there.
Wonderful. What part of the world do they live in? I already said that, but I will totally say it again. They're from Mexico. They're from only one tiny area in Mexico City called the Xochimilco River Canal system. And there's like 2 little pockets of the river that they live in, and that is it. And that is one reason why they are critically endangered, is they only have that little area in the first place to exist in the wild. So, and they can't leave or go this way or that way along the river system. So they're kind of stuck there. It's just kind of like a pool that exists there, a natural pool. They're also very specialized. I have been to Mexico City. I have been right past that area. When we went to the zoo in Mexico City is right near there. And they do a lot of ecological conservation with axolotls, of course, right?
Mhm.
Makes sense. And breeding of them.
Yeah.
But I didn't like see any in the wild because you can't really find them, and they're hard to see. So they're usually at the bottom of the river and they're dark. So
and you're not allowed to dive
no
no.
into their natural habitat. No.
Right.
But that is where they're from. They're actually kind of a Mexican treasure now. People that are aware of them and know them, they're very proud in Mexico of their species that only lives there. Kind of a little mascot of Mexico City. So
I would have been too.
Yeah. So
sure.
at the zoo, they were really cool about that. They had a whole bunch of like signage and like we love our axolotls and lots of history. It was really cool to go. I love Mexico City. I highly recommend visiting Mexico City.
That's awesome. I have not been there.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. I highly recommend. Lots of great food. Probably the best food I've ever had in my life. Oh. Another question. Do they lay eggs? Yes, they do. So just like other amphibians, frogs, salamanders, newts, and toads, axolotls too, they lay gelatin-like eggs. They almost remind me of like boba tea.
Oh, okay.
That's what the texture of it. Yeah. Very, very jelly, very wet. And they lay a whole bunch of eggs at once, anywhere from 200 to like 500 eggs, maybe more per female during the breeding season. They'll lay the eggs and they kind of like stick them to plants and things. Okay. So they're kind of hidden in the plants. And then when the babies hatch out, they're going to hatch out as a tadpole and metamorphosize into the adult eventually. To turn into an adult?
No, from the egg to out.
I'm not really sure. That's a great question. Okay. I don't think it's very long. I think it's like a month or two at the most.
Okay.
It's not a very long gestation. Okay. And when they're in mom's belly, I don't know how long that is either. I'm going to look that up. Nobody's ever asked me that before.
No questions.
So that's one of my favorite things about my job is I'm always encouraged to learn more things about the things I like. So even though she's one of my favorite animals, I don't know that. And I don't breed them. So I don't know. But I'm sure that's an easy Google search, right?
For sure.
What is their lifespan? Oh my gosh, up to 200. No, it's up to 500. 200 to 500. What percentage actually make it? That's a great question. So the life expectancy in the wild is not going to be as long as here with humans in human care where they're safe, right? And they don't have to worry about pollution or trash or predators or anything like that. So here with us, she could live into her late 20s. I think that's the longest I've heard of them living. She's actually my first axolotl that I've had in my personal collection, but I've worked with them before. But I heard that one lived to be like 28 or 29. That's a pretty long time, almost 30. Yeah. And in the wild, I'm sure far less. So especially nowadays with them not having the greatest habitat scenario, I would say up to 10 probably in the wild. So it's at least like half, if not more of, you know what I'm trying to say, less of their lifespan. And how many actually make it? So that is why a lot of animals have so many eggs. Animals like spiders and frogs, and I'm trying to think of another example. All sorts of animals that are usually going to be prey when they're little, even when they're bigger adults. So this is as big as they get.
Alligator, turtles.
Yeah, those guys do have quite a few. Not as many as like a frog, but quite a few. Yeah. So the more the babies, the more insurance, right? That you are going to have your offspring continue on. But yes, sea turtles are a great example of an animal that definitely doesn't make it. Like I think it's like 2% make it from the clutch of eggs. These guys, I don't know. That's something to be researched. I don't even know if scientists know how many make it in the wild. But of course they have a higher chance in human care where people, you can protect them and make sure that the temperatures are right and no toxins and no predators. So I don't really know the exact answer, but I do know that's why they have so many is to make sure that they're going to procreate at some point, right? This is a long question, but it's Nikki. Hi, Nikki. This is Ricky's daughter.
Nice.
I have a question. I see axolotls everywhere in stores, on media, and as pets, etc. I thought they would be increasing in numbers because of their popularity, ? They say the same thing about tigers, that there are less in the wild, but high number in captivity. So are they still considered endangered? Yes, they are. So when it comes to being an endangered species, it's only in the wild. We're not talking about in the care of humans. So their classification has many different levels, all the way from what's called least concern. That means they're not endangered. They're doing great. That's like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an animal. Squirrels. Gray squirrels are least concern here in the United States. They're everywhere, right? They're not endangered at all. Not like you, Ghost. But then you have different levels. So they start diminishing. Vulnerable, and then all the way down to endangered, critically endangered, extinct in the wild, and then extinct altogether. So unless they are just totally diminished from human care, zoos, aquariums, that's when they would be technically extinct. So if dinosaurs existed in Jurassic Park, they wouldn't really be extinct, would they? There were still some of them, but in the wild they are extinct. So extinct in the wild is kind of the lowest level until they're just gone, period. But I don't see that happening with axolotls. And then, yes, so with tigers, same thing. Tigers, there are more tigers in Texas and in some other states in the United States than there are in the wild.
Oh, wow.
Because they barely have any habitat left. Most animals don't, which is very sad.
Hunting him.
Right. No, yeah. So they're and honestly, tigers are not good pets, obviously, right? We were just talking about this actually before the show started. We're talking about different regulations on animals that we can have. So that's not great that they're overbred so much in the care of humans, in my opinion. But with these guys, they're not going to require a ton of space. They're not dangerous, nothing like that. So breeding them is, I think, totally ethical, as long as they're being bred, healthy and taken care of and all of that. But I think that answers your question, I hope. And if it doesn't answer your question, let me know, Nikki, and I will try to answer it better. But yes, it is very similar to a lot of species that are unfortunately sometimes in like private collections or in zoos. Nothing wrong with tigers in zoos, right? They're helping them out. They're breeding them and making sure they're
educational,
all that. What's the biggest one on record? I do not know. You're asking me all the stumped questions. For axolotls, I know they get about this size. She's not going to get much bigger than what she is. And I don't know what the record is. Okay, I did answer your question. Very good. Love your questions, Nikki. You can keep asking questions if you like. Axolotls are pretty interesting because a lot of people don't know what they are. But now a lot of people do know what they are because
I thought it was a lizard. So I was wrong.
She called it a gecko. I'm going to forgive. I'm going to forgive that. That is okay. You are in a different career path altogether. So that is allowed. But they're wonderful. They're very slimy and slick. For amphibians in general, you shouldn't pick them up or touch them because they can actually get sick from you. So we can get sick from them, but we can get sick from a lot of animals. I mean, chickens carry salmonella, don't they? So if you don't wash your hands after handling your chicken, or dog for that matter, you might be able to get sick. But these guys are more vulnerable to us, like them getting sick from us. So if you go over to a frog and pick it up and give it a kiss and you're hoping for your Prince Charming, you can actually give the oils on your hands to the frog and it can absorb it right through its skin quickly and get sick if you have oily skin, which most of us humans have oily skin. Or if we're using hand sanitizer and touching animals, then they can get sick from us. So that's why they're so affected by chemicals and trash and things like that in their water. And they're in the water, so they're living in it and everything. And they're not a reptile. So that's what I was going to do. The reptile, compare and contrast. These guys have slimy skin that absorbs. Reptiles have scaly skin that is waterproof. So a reptile is way more protected from the elements, from chemicals, things like that. They can still be affected eventually, but these guys are far more sensitive. So what's really important about frogs and salamanders and axolotls, for that matter, is they're actually a species that can indicate how healthy the planet is. So if they start getting sick from XYZ, temperature change, chemicals, whatever it may be, we need to look out for the next step. So they're going to be the first ones affected usually, and then the next level up and the next level up. Have you ever heard of like a canary in a coal mine? Have you ever heard of that phrase? You know what that means? So that's like if they took the little bird into the coal mine and the bird became sick or died. So mean. But that's kind of the saying, right? They're like that for the planet. So they're one of the first ones to be ill. So it's really important to take care of them. There's a lot of frogs that are endangered, unfortunately. So don't pick up frogs. And a really great way to help frogs in your backyard is to not spray all kinds of pesticides and chemicals all over the place, because they're the ones that are going to actually get poisoned before the bugs do, believe it or not. And the bugs are their food. So there's a lot better ways to actually handle that. Inviting more frogs into your yard is actually great for bugs, bats, and some birds, of course, dragonflies, and all those animals will kind of naturally take care of bugs. We also have a couple of those lanterns that you can hang that have the bright light where the bugs are attracted to it, but there's no chemicals. They just get sucked into it, and that kind of helps as well. But
make it less
mosquito-y. But I mean, we've had a really bad we've had a really bad year with bugs this year. I don't know about you guys and your brothels, but oh my gosh, it's been so buggy. But that's one way we've kind of counteracted that. Bats are another one that eat bugs. In the night.
Saw one of my friends, they went up to Austin to see all the bats fly.
Oh, so neat! Yeah,
I haven't seen that yet, but she showed me. She showed me a video of it, and they're like, a lot of them. Yeah, a lot of them. That's awesome.
So there's some, you can also set up bat boxes on the side of your house to invite bats into your life. It might take some time. Also little owls, like screech owls, eat roaches and other bigger bugs, June bugs, things like that. That's another animal you can invite in your life. If you ever need advice about any of this, just let me know. That's what I'm here for. I know. Just talk forever about it.
Full of knowledge there.
Thank you.
For sure.
How are axolotls with other axolotls, like together? Are they like betta fish? So are you familiar with betta fish?
Yes.
The fighting fish?
Yes.
Siamese fighting fish. Not as bad as betta fish, but some axolotls don't get along together. So it just kind of depends. They're a solitary animal, just like a snake is a solitary animal most of the time. There's a couple of exceptions of that. There are frogs and toads that get along together just fine and won't eat each other, but most amphibians will try to eat each other. So for our axolotls, we have 3: ghost, gremlin, and goblin.
Oh, okay.
And they're all in their own habitats, so they do not live together. It's actually kind of risky to do that. I wouldn't say dangerous, it just depends. But some people do keep multiple axolotls together. You have to have a lot of space and places for them to get away from each other, like hides and caves and things.
So do they scratch each other then?
No, they'll bite each other.
Without teeth?
Without teeth, but the pressure. So what they'll do, so this is fun. So if they feel like, plus if they're different sizes too. You never want to put like a little one with a big one.
No,
do that. Just like fish, a lot of fish will eat each other. I know. She's
Yeah.
terrified.
I'm like, poor ghost.
No,
Okay.
we're not going to do that, right?
No.
No, it's just better to keep them solitary if you're separated if we can.
Okay.
But what they can do is grab each other's arms, toes, tails, gills, the things that are
sticking out.
What do you call this? Yeah, sticking out.
Limbs,
all the things. Luckily, though, if an axolotl loses a limb, a tail, a gill, anything, they can regenerate them.
Oh, it grows out.
It grows back. So they're like the one animal, if it does happen, just wait a few weeks.
But during that time, they might not be able to eat anything.
Right. So that actually takes a lot of energy for their body to regrow a body part. But these guys are actually studied in science because of that. They're trying to see if they can apply that to other animal medicine or human medicine, so they can regenerate like organs and things like that, or limbs if somebody injures their hand, arm, whatever it might be.
That's very interesting.
You guys learning all the things?
Yes.
That doesn't help them with their endangerment situation. No, eating each other is not great either. So usually in the wild, they'll have like kind of their own little territories. But let me tell you, mom axolotl isn't a good mom. She'll lay the eggs and leave. And that's just the way it is. And the baby axolotl tadpoles will disperse on their own too. Everybody leaves each other alone. Yeah. Because as soon as you see another bigger axolotl, it could be lunchtime, but they don't have a ton of options for food.
Don't they have to put some, like, a male and a female together?
True. So for breeding, they will come together.
Okay.
They do know when it's that time and when it's not. That hopefully, right? It's kind of like spiders. Spiders do each other too. Praying mantis.
Right.
I don't know how they know, but I'm sure it's a pheromone thing or a time of year, and I don't know much about that either. But they do have a sense of smell, so I imagine it's something in the pheromones and things like that. Maybe language that we don't understand. But they definitely will breed. That's a great question. How can you tell male from female? Are you guys studying on how to breed axolotls? You ask how many babies, and no, I'm just kidding. So I don't recommend breeding them unless you're a professional. But how can you tell male from female? Super easy. Ghost is a girl, and males have kind of like an undercarriage situation. These nuts. They'll have like kind of like a bulge, if you will, in their undercarriage. So it's really easy to tell once they're adults. Babies, you can't tell. They all look the same. They're not mature yet, so nothing has happened in that region.
It's hidden. Okay.
It's kind of like a cat. Most cats look the same gender when they're babies, and then all of a sudden you're like,
yeah,
D's nuts. Yeah. What does the purpose of the fin on the top of Ghost's tail do? So her whole body is built like a torpedo. So if she wants to, you saw her swimming back and forth earlier, you did.
She's super fast.
She's super fast when they want to be. Usually they're just kind of crawling along, but then all of a sudden like a fish, right? So her whole body is built like a torpedo, and it's flattened. So I don't know if it has like a particular purpose of just the shape other than to give her like a fish-like maneuver. But if you think about it, without the flappy gills and without the arms and legs, she looks like a big tadpole, which is what she used to be. So it's kind of just like a tadpole grew arms and legs and has bigger gills, and that's it. So it's just a streamlined, water-friendly shape. And then most, of course, amphibians lose their tail, unless they're a salamander, I guess. But they lose their tail and come up on dry land sometimes. Not the case with the axolotl. They're supposed to be underwater.
Nice.
Good. I'm glad you're not going to be breeding them willy-nilly, right? I prefer furry pets, LOL, no breeding here. I'm glad you're curious about the slimy ones, though.
That's awesome.
And those are some really good questions, you guys. Keep them coming if you have more. If I don't get to everybody's questions, I do apologize. But I'm so happy to have so many questions tonight to talk about. Any more questions from you on the the ghost, on the axolotl?
Ghost is doing a great job over there.
Can you see why we call her Ghost?
Yes.
She looks like a little floating ghost in there.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, if you guys love ghosts, don't worry. She's going to stay out here on the table the whole time while we're talking about other animals. Our next animal is right over here. Sandra's like moving away from her.
No.
So today I actually brought 3 animals. As usual, we typically talk about 3 on the show, unless it's a little more or a little less. It just depends on the show. You can watch the old reruns, if you will, on our YouTube and Facebook. But typically for a guest appearance show, we bring 3 animals. And today I kind of themed it out. It was super last minute. I was like, Ghost is definitely going to be there. But I thought I would have maybe animals that are colored different than their wild counterparts. So don't worry. This girl is really sweet. She's one of our nicest animals.
I've met her before.
Oh, you have? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Come on. So this is another animal that is very different color than her wild cousins out there in the wild. Her wild cousins in the wild. That was redundant. This is Princess. I'm going to turn our light down a little bit and focus this a little bit so you guys can see her a little bit better. Just going to hide her little face. Princess is actually a ball python. This is a lot of logistics to be in here today. So a ball python usually has a pattern. Just like Ghost in the wild, her species, the axolotl, would have a pattern for camouflage, right? So usually they're going to have almost like a camo pattern. It looks just like camouflage on a soldier's uniform or something like that to be able to blend in, of course. And that's going to help them to blend in from, for hunting purposes when they're stalking their prey, but it also can help them blend in to just stay safe from all of the other animals. This is an African species. Oh. So Ghost is an African species, right? We learned that. She's from Mexico. But this is an animal found in Central Africa, the ball python. Again, a very different color. Ball python because they curl up into a ball most of the time for comfort and to kind of stay safe and hidden. They're actually kind of an underground animal. Oh. Strictly terrestrial on the ground and sometimes subterrestrial, which is underground. And most of the time you're going to find them in savannas. You know what a savanna is?
It's open
grassland. Yeah, exactly. So savannas can have sparse trees, open grassland. They can also be found in woods, in scrubs, but typically in Central Africa. And sometimes they're found underneath termite mounds. So termite mounds are big. Have you ever been to Africa?
I have.
You have? Where did you go in Africa?
I went to Egypt.
Oh, beautiful. That's not quite savanna territory. Did you see a lot of desert or more? Okay.
More desert.
Egypt sounds beautiful. I would love to go. I've been to Rwanda and Kenya, and there are huge, giant termite mounds in the savannas of Africa, and they're like mountains. I mean, they're bigger than a person. They're even taller than an elephant sometimes, just depending on.
When you see them, it's more underground than it is.
It's both. Yeah, it's kind of both. Kind of like a tree, right? Yeah. So they're going to have a tunneling system. That's very, very true. They're going to have a tunneling system underneath that mountain, if you will. It's like a big, giant anthill made out of hard rock, basically. Do you know what the termites make their termite mound out of? What the structure is made out of? Basically, dirt? It is clay.
Or their dirt.
So it's made out of dirt and something else to stick it all together. They use their own saliva. Oh. Yum. So they use their own spit and dirt pretty much together, and it forms like a hard clay, just like she was saying. And getting all wiggly with me. Bye, Princess. See ya. So they will kind of live in some of the tunnels underneath the termite mound sometimes, or they'll find a fallen log or maybe a tunnel underground that another animal has dug. They're not very good diggers with no legs. Right. So, but they can definitely adapt to using another animal's home, which is pretty cool. But they're almost never seen out and about unless it's at night. Sometimes they'll venture out at night. But Africa is a dangerous place for these guys. They're not a big snake at all.
No.
They don't get much bigger than what she is here. I think the biggest one ever was around 5.5 to 6 foot, but that's super rare. And that's not a very big snake. A lot of snakes are much longer than that. And they are constrictors. They're very, that's a cute shot. Yeah. They are very, very strong in their body. They have strong muscles. But they're not the biggest in town, right? There's far larger reptiles in Africa that could easily hurt these guys. So they usually kind of stay to themselves underground. Unless they want to venture out to move from here to there. She's got me trapped, my hand. And they are carnivores, of course, Actually, we have 2 carnivores out here right now, Ghost and Princess, and 1 herbivore coming up, so stay tuned. But these guys will eat things like rodents. So got me all, my goodness, this has never happened before. I'm trapped. So these little spots on her face, I don't know if you guys can see the little, they look like freckles.
Like on the nose type.
Kind of like along the sides of her lips there.
Yeah.
So on her nose, she does have nostrils. So she has the 2 nostrils. Okay. And then she's got all these little, like, kind of dots on the front of her lips. There's like a little shot. Woo, hi. She's like, don't look at my lips. So those are heat sensing pits.
Oh.
So these pythons, all pythons have this. Sorry, this is awkward. Hello, everybody. So pythons have heat sensing pits, which can sense the body heat of warm-blooded animals. They're cold-blooded, just like ghost is too. Amphibians and reptiles are both cold-blooded. They have that in common. But that tells you what they eat. So most of the time they're looking for warm-blooded animals. That's what they're easily going to be able to find. So rats, mice, birds, things like that.
You said how old is Princess?
Princess is about 5 as well. So Ghost is about 5 or 6. Princess is about 5 now.
Okay.
4.5, 5 years old. I think she's 5 now.
Yeah.
I got her as a young ball python, but she wasn't like a newborn or anything like that. So I've had her for about 4 years.
Nice.
She's beautiful. Her coloration, in case you're wondering, is called ivory. This is not an albino. She's an albino. You know how you can tell the difference between an albino and like a different color white animal?
The eyes.
The eyes, that's right. So albino animals and humans, whoever, they have red eyes. Ghost has reddish eyes, kind of goldish reddish eyes, not black eyes.
Right.
Princess has black eyes. So she's a form of leucistic, which means light colored but dark eyes. But she's specifically for somebody breeding this animal, they got to name it because they were the first ones to breed it, and it's called an ivory. And they're pretty much stark white with dark eyes, but they do have little spots on them, so they're not perfectly white. I know it's really hard to see on the camera for you guys looking, but there's some freckles on her body, and she's going to get more freckles as she grows up.
Oh, okay.
Super cute.
So is she this color? Is that something that everyone wants?
It's kind of a popular one. It's not a super expensive one anymore. When it first came out, just like any special coloration, it was very expensive and sought after. And now they're more common. I certainly couldn't afford them when they first came out. I bet it was like super, like thousands of dollars. Yeah. But it just kind of depends. So as that, they become more common, they're less expensive. You're more than welcome to actually touch her. She's super soft.
Oh, she is.
And they feel like a fine leather to me. Very, very smooth. And they're not slimy.
Her as a fine leather.
Of course not. That's a lot of times I can get people to actually kind of.
It's like a yellow.
There is a yellow stripe on the back. That's actually a signature of the ivory as well. Dark eyes, little freckles, and the yellow stripe. Super faint yellow stripe. You can't even see it on the camera, I don't think. No. Because our lights are so bright in here. But ball pythons are super popular in the pet trade because of their temperament. They're very, very calm. Yeah. I don't necessarily recommend them for everybody because you need to do all of your research for any pet. We don't impulse buy animals. But ball pythons, I understand why people love them. There's lots of colors you can get, like we said, and they're great temperament. They're very sweet, very calm. They're actually naturally calm, even in the wild as well. They're more shy. They'd rather kind of hide away and not be aggressive, like other snakes can be sometimes. Any animal in the wild can be aggressive. But these guys are known for their calm demeanor. And the other name for the ball python is actually the royal python. Isn't that a nice name? Royal.
Yes.
Do you know where that comes from?
No.
No. You're like, abort. Here, you can hold the tail.
Okay.
How about that?
I'll do that.
And the royal python comes from Egypt, actually. So in Egypt, there's a very famous person named Cleopatra. In history, right? That was a real person. She was said to have loved snakes so much that she had pet snakes, and she had ball pythons for pets, specifically the wild type with the pattern and everything. They would go down to Central Africa and gather all sorts of animals for their menageries for the rich people in Egypt, right? But she was very famous for having ball pythons, and she would wear them around, like around her neck, around her wrists, as like living jewelry. And so they got the name the royal python because of that. And their scientific name is Python regius, which means royal python. Regius. Regal. Okay. Regal or royal.
Is that her purple?
It is.
I'm just waiting for something
this is the butthole. They rarely go to the bathroom, so you're good.
Oh, okay.
These guys are very, very infrequent restroom users, which I love. Not every snake is like that. Ball pythons don't go potty very often at all. No. These guys really don't eat very often either. She's just gonna be doing her own thing. I'm trying to control her, but she's like, I'm doing my own pattern today. She's a rebel today. So Princess is a very picky eater. Okay. She doesn't eat every time I give her food. In fact, she's like, nah, I'll eat next month.
Next month?
Yes. So in the wild,
can we get that diet? The
right?
snake diet.
Wouldn't that be very efficient?
Let's do that.
I would love to not use as many resources and save a lot of money, right? They only have to eat every now and then. And the wild, they can go far longer than that.
Oh, wow.
Because, I mean, it's the wild. They get what they get, right? Not ideal for them to go 6 months without eating, but they can do that. Eat twice a year and survive. Isn't that incredible?
That's
Can
amazing.
you imagine?
Yeah. We should put that in a bottle.
Yeah. We should figure this out. Although I don't know if I want to go on an all rat diet. That's kind of gross. Like a whole rat every time I hear a whole like food animal that's 5 times the size of my head, which is what they eat. It's pretty incredible. So they do have a jaw that can expand.
Okay.
Have you ever heard somebody telling you that their jaw unhinges?
No.
That's a popular like American thing. So don't say that. It's not true.
Okay.
You didn't hear it. Just kidding.
No.
So their jaw does not unhinge. It's not like breaking or anything like that. It actually just expands. So right here where we have like a solid chin, they have a gap right here in their bones.
Oh.
So their bones are very flexible. So their bones can open up like this.
Oh.
Their skin is there, so it's not like too traumatic when they do it, but their mouth opens so very wide. If you look up a snake's anatomy, like their skeleton, you can see there's just like a big gap right here. Okay. And then a lot of flexibility in their tendons here in their anatomy here. So lots of wide open mouth. And since she has such a big, heavy body, that is where her tummy is. You can see about midway right here where it's drooping there. That's where the food goes. And that's about as wide as she can eat. And see how small the head is compared to her body. Yeah, upside down. That is incredible. So they can eat something 5 times the size of their head. Wow. They are constrictors, of course. You know what that means, right? It means to squeeze. Yeah. They squeeze things. They squeeze their food. That's it. She's squeezing my hand just to hang on to me, but it's not hurting me. Constriction, true constriction is when they grab their food, hold on. They do have teeth, but their teeth are kind of like Velcro. They don't have fangs or anything like that because they're not venomous. Only venomous snakes have fangs and they're like needles. But these guys have tiny teeth, which are for hanging on to furry animals or feathery animals. And then they wrap around with the first half of their body, give it a nice hug. Last hug ever. Then the animal's ready to eat, right? Oh, wow. And then they can eat a whole 5 times the size of their head. That's amazing. Pretty amazing. But that's why they don't have to eat as often. They eat really big meals. And since their metabolism is so slow and they're cold-blooded, they can go a long time without having to eat.
I've seen pictures of something like they're sitting with it or laying with it and they have just their head on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when they're actually about to eat or going to eat. Yeah, super cool. But I mean, they're carnivores, just like tigers and lions and everybody else that has to eat meat. Yeah. Ferrets are like that too. That's what they have to do to survive. Do you know that they don't blink? Just like ghosts. She doesn't have eyelids either. What? Snakes don't have eyelids either.
They don't?
They don't. They have a scale over their eye instead. Can you guys see her black eyes? Those eyes have a clear scale. She's got scales all over her for protection and everything in her skin. But she has a clear scale over her eye. Wow. She can move her eyes a little bit, like kind of around, just a little bit. But they never have to blink. It's nice and moisturized under there. So she doesn't have to worry about that. Like and they're always looking around. I know. No staring. You cannot win a staring contest with Princess.
Oh my God.
Or me.
Right.
Staring.
Oh, that's amazing.
And super cool. Very different than a human, for sure. No blinking required. Not every reptile is like that. Some reptiles do have eyelids, like most lizards do, and things like that. And tortoises and things, and turtles.
How is female, male different?
Very good question. Size mostly. It's really hard to tell the difference in gender if you're not an expert. Outwardly, they would look the same, especially at this age when she's still pretty young. But as they reach maturity, when they're able to have babies and things like that, females are much larger. Okay. They're actually about twice the size of a male when they reach maturity. She and her buddy Prince, I have Prince and Princess. Prince is our male ball python. They're around the same size. Prince is a little bit smaller, like ever so slightly. But when she reaches about 10 to 12, 15 years old, she'll look a lot bigger than him. And he'll kind of just stay smaller. But the boys don't have to have the babies. That's why the girls are bigger. They have a lot of eggs. Not as much as an axolotl. Right. But they have big eggs. Their eggs are actually about like this big. Oh, wow. And they can have about a dozen.
Has she had any yet?
No. We're not planning on it. I'm not a breeder. I don't really know what I'm doing there. So, and Prince and Princess don't live together, so there's not going to be any of that. No illegitimate children. No, I'm not interested in doing that. We have enough ball pythons with the 2 of them. Ball pythons are really not my favorite snakes. I love snakes. Snakes are my favorite animals. Yeah. But they're picky eaters. They can have health problems. Ours don't. We're always on top of that. But They're a little more challenging than other species. They're a lot more healthy and easily thriving and things like that. They're just not my preference. But a lot of people like them.
What's her favorite food?
Her favorite? Rats.
Is it?
Yeah. She won't eat anything else.
No.
Nope. And she rarely eats that too.
And
She's one of those that, if you guys know ball pythons out there that are watching, ball pythons are really picky. Prince is a lot better at eating than her, but she has to be fed a certain way. It has to be a certain color rat. It has to be a certain time.
Oh, wow.
It has to be in the dark. She will not, she doesn't just take it and eat it like
are they alive?
Every other snake. No.
Okay.
I've actually tried that. I'll be honest. I don't recommend live prey for your snakes because it's dangerous to the snake. So if the snake doesn't bite them in the right way, doesn't constrict in the right way, etc., they can bite. Rodents bite hard. And they have sharp teeth. So it's really, really dangerous for your snake. It's also less humane for the rodent. It's much more humane to have a company out there, a breeder, humanely euthanize the rodents. We freeze them to store them, and then we thaw them out to feed them. And most snakes do great that way. She actually does eat frozen thawed just fine when she wants to eat. But I have tried live with her to see if that was like maybe she needed to be more stimulated by a live rat. That does work with some ball pythons, but with her, it does not work. So she's just one of those. But as you can see, not skinny. So she's okay. And these guys can go a long time without eating. I would say Princess eats about once a month. Prince eats about 3 times a month. That just tells you their differences and their personality and preferences. So somebody is asking a question. I'm going to juggle. Let me see. Oh, lots of questions. Your daughter wants a ball python. Do all of your research. Ball pythons are not bad pets, but they do have special health requirements. They require humidity, certain amounts of heat. Obviously, we don't recommend a heat lamp with a ball python or recommend a heat pad because ball pythons don't like the light. They're nocturnal. That can stress them out. Their feeding is very, very finicky, as I was talking about with some of them. So just do your research or adopt one that needs a home and that is already eating and doing well. And that way you can actually see exactly how their care was if it's your first time. If it's not your first time with a ball python, go for it. And you're familiar with them. That is okay. Just make sure we get that out there, right? We're always promoting responsible pet care and health care. Sure. Be healthy. Everybody be healthy.
Why not?
How much do you think she weighs? I actually, to be honest, have not weighed her in a hot minute. I will try to weigh her soon. And maybe I'll comment that back to you in the comments. It is good to weigh your animals, especially if you think they look a little thin. She doesn't look thin at all. And she actually isn't fat either, which can be a problem with these guys too. So they can be overweight, just like any pet. So that's important.
Like she was at least over 2 pounds.
I think, definitely. I think she's at least a couple of pounds.
Yeah.
That's a great guess for sure. But we will see. Usually these guys are weighed in grams or kilograms. How
Which
old
I'm
is
very
she?
familiar with.
I was gonna say that's not my thing because I'm American. But yes, I'm sure you could. How many kilograms do you think or how many grams?
I would. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's what we should do. Guess the weight, and then we'll weigh the animal.
I would
and
say
you get a prize.
A kilo.
Okay.
Ooh, look at that tail. Oh, yes.
She's extra active today. It's warm in here.
She sure is.
Oh, you sweet girl. They have a forked tongue. You probably knew that. Their tongue can help them figure out directions.
Yeah.
With 2 points. They don't have ears, so they can't hear. But they can smell, and they use their tongue to smell and figure out directions. You're doing great.
It's amazing.
Oh, but yeah, maybe 1 kilo or less.
Yeah, I would say so.
She's so bright white in this light.
She just stopped doing. You good there?
I guess so. So that's our guess. We'll weigh her later and get back to you guys with I'll comment the answer. How about that?
She found a good spot.
Hey, Steve. This is my little brother from another mother. Hi, Steve. So have I ever been bitten by a snake? Yes, many times. I've worked with hundreds, maybe thousands of snakes in my life. I actually used to work for what's called a reptile distribution company. And it's just like what it sounds. It's a distribution company for reptiles. And that means that we were kind of the middleman between the breeders and the pet store. So this is years ago. I used to work for a company that we would get tons and tons of snakes, reptiles, all sorts of exotic animals in, and we would then send them out to pet stores. So that was my job, to ship the animals. So I've literally worked with thousands of snakes, and of course, you're going to get bitten every now and then, just like other animals. Snake bites are really not a big deal. Not Princess. No, Princess has never bitten anybody, to my knowledge, except for her food, and that's only
Right.
sometimes. Only sometimes she bites her food because she's super picky.
Sure.
But no, she's super trustworthy. This is actually an animal we bring out a lot for programs and let kids hold, that new people hold.
That's how I met her too.
Yeah, that must have been at Pet Fest or one of the.
I think one of the markets.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So we bring her out a lot because she's super easy to handle.
Yeah.
But yes, I have. I would say the worst snake bite I ever got was from a boa constrictor, and that was because the boa constrictor was big, and it was actually thinking that I was trying to feed it, and it tried to eat my hand. But it let go, and I was fine. They're non-venomous, right? So we don't handle venomous snakes. I don't condone that. Not freehand anyway. I have worked with venomous snakes in the past in my zoo career, but we use equipment to do all of that. I'm very safe with other people around you, just in case. But a regular old snake bite that's non-venomous is not a big deal as long as they're a smaller snake.
I went to a hunting and fishing show one time, and they had rattlesnakes, like 50 of them. And I think
live ones?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Cool.
It was very scary, I would say.
Yeah, they're not really for handling. Yeah,
they knew how to keep them moving the right way, but yeah, they had like 50 of them.
Oh, wow. That's too many.
Mm-hmm.
Were they like in there with the snakes?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And they were joking. They're like, oh, we used to have 50 of them, but no, there are 49 here now.
That's not very nice.
But I'm sure there's plenty of I don't know how she's sitting here now.
She looks great. You're doing fine. Yeah. You can get a job here at Once in a Wild.
That's awesome.
Okay. Nikki says ball pythons are relatively slow and picky eaters, in my opinion, and everyone's opinion, Nikki, with this emoji. I own one. Yes, we know Patches the python. So how do they catch their prey in the wild? They're ambush predators. So these guys really don't eat very often in the wild, as you can probably imagine. However, in the wild, they are going to take that opportunity. The ones that are smart, or at least wanting to survive, they will take the opportunity to eat what comes by. So remember, they're going to be living like kind of in that termite mound, underground, under a log, under something most of the time, just hanging out like this, curled up with their little head like that, resting on their own body. And if something walks by, they're going to sense it with their sense of smell. They're going to see it a little bit, and they're certainly going to sense with their heat pits. Yeah. And that is going to tell them, ooh, now's the time to strike. And they will strike and coil and eat the rodent, right? Or the bird that comes too close. But they are absolutely ambush predators, which means they stay very still most of the time. 98% of the time, a ball python is laying very still, safe at home where they like to be quarantined, right? In quarantine, and waiting for their food to come to the front door, not like seeking out food. Right. Not to say they can't. They could probably do that. Waiting for it. And at night, they're far more active when it's a little safer out. There's less predators out. But that's how they hunt, is by ambushing. That is a great question. Oh, yes. Ricky is reminding us from Once in a Wild's Facebook, says you can find pet care information on our YouTube channel. Absolutely. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel and followed us on Facebook and followed us on Instagram and even TikTok and Twitter, please follow us on social media. That is a free way to help us out. And you can get all sorts of helpful information on your pets at home, or maybe pets you're thinking about adopting. Maybe we can actually dissuade you into not getting a pet or getting a different pet. That is a lot of advice that I give, and etc. And lots of fun videos in between. Lots of fun guests. Like Sandra. Sandra's having a lot of fun today.
Princess and I'm walking home with her.
So it's not scary, right? She's a great snake. She's wonderful. Princess is a very sweet snake. Her name is Princess for a reason. It's really fun to have Prince and Princess, and we used to sometimes use Patches as well, who is Nikki's snake. Patches, Prince, and Princess. That sounds like dogs or something, right? So like, are you ready to meet Patches, Prince, and Princess? Oh no. Hold on, you guys. Hold on. Technical difficulties, as you can still hear me. Sorry, everyone.
Oh, we're back.
Sandra broke the camera. Just kidding. It was
I
a
got
dead
insurance
battery.
for that.
Yeah. You're so beautiful that the camera just said, I'm done. So anyway, the battery died. That's never happened on one of our guest shows, but we're good. We're making it work, right? Yeah, first time for everything. So yeah, she's wonderful. She changes a lot of people's minds about snakes. People are scared of snakes, which I understand. If you're not familiar with them or you don't know what you're doing, you should never ever walk up to a snake and pick it up if you don't know what you're doing. The average person, right? That snake could be dangerous or you could be dangerous to it. So please don't do that. Please don't harm them either. It's really, really nice to just let it be, right? That is the nicest way you can behave towards any wildlife, right?
Yes.
So if you see a rattlesnake, a copperhead, anything, a garden snake, a garter snake, anything at all, king snake, leave it alone. Those animals are there to do their job, which is eating lots of rodents for us. Believe me, you don't want too many rodents in your life. Rodents can make us sick. And I'm ready for less disease on the planet. So more snakes, please, and less rodents. Well, Princess, you did a great job. And so did you, Princess. You're like, thanks. So she can go back because we are going to be needing a rodent last. And remember, that is their food. So not necessarily this type of rodent, but she may not know the difference. And it might be that one day when she's like, yes, that's what I wanted to eat. Since she's so picky. She is nice and secure in her travel enclosure. And I'm sure you guys know that this is not what the animals live in. Does she sing the little travel enclosure? It's just a little like a tote. And it has little little flaps to make sure, and air holes, of course, to breathe. And it has little what do you call these? Locks to make sure she doesn't escape. But this is kind of like the animal's car seat, if you will, to be able to travel and hang out here in the studio today. Now, before we finish with our finale, our last animal is a rodent. But before I forget to remind everybody, thank you so much for being here, by the way. If this is your first time visiting us on Once in a Wild Wednesday with a guest, which is really fun. But in general, we are here each and every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, because we're in South Texas, of course. And I'm from San Antonio. She's from New Braunfels, right north of here. No problem. Not far at all. Just not even an hour away. And not even like 30 minutes away from us. Perfectly, hopefully convenient for you to show up today.
Yes.
And anyway, so if this is your first time joining us, welcome, or welcome back if it is your 100th time, because we have done over 100 live streams. Can you believe it? I know, it's crazy. I can't believe this. It's one of those things where we just had to adapt to what was going on in the planet, right? And it's really taken off. So we're very, very proud of that. But if this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe, follow us on YouTube, follow us everywhere. But you can also donate to our animals. You can help feed Princess once a month. You can help feed Ghost 3 times a week. And you can help feed our last animal each and every day because he's a rodent. But all of our animals need care. All of our animals need vet care sometimes, and they need food and toys and all sorts of fun things. So you guys can donate to us if you feel it in your heart to do so. Thank you very much ahead of time. Or you can donate items at onceinawild.com. We have an Amazon wish list, which is really fun to kind of select the gifts for us and just send them over. And we always super appreciate that. And before we conclude, I want to make sure you also are able to plug everything from your end as well. Where can people find you? Who are you?
Again,
one more time.
Sandra. I'm the owner of SkyLine Canopies. We produce custom canopies, flags, table covers, and our website. You can reach us at skylinecanopies.com, and all the Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We do have a YouTube.
There we go.
It's not as advanced as yours, so
hey,
stick to the website.
It is okay. There you go, skylinecanopies.com. Everything you need for promoting your business in person, right? And all sorts of really neat, high quality items that they can hook you up with, and be part of the SkyLine Canopies family. And join us over at Kids Fest, New Braunfels Kids Fest, coming up in November. Stay tuned for all the details there. I believe we have a guest coming up that's going to go over all of that, but that is partially Sandra as well. And check them out on their social media too, and give them some love over there. Share the video with all your friends and family that love animals, and advertisement. And we can all be one big happy family, right?
For sure.
Okay. So that is that. And let's meet one more animal who, pardon me, I'm going to have to bend this way to get him because he's down on the floor. As you might imagine, we're here in a studio, very limited space. We have an axolotl here, a human here, and another human, which is me, right?
For sure.
But I figured I would bring this cutie pie to the show today. And he was down in his travel enclosure or tub. And this is Iggy, everybody.
Iggy. Yeah.
Nobody can see your face, Iggy, and you can't see anything. This is Iggy the guinea pig. He's very famous here at Once in a Wild, a very popular critter, and for good reason. He is very, very, very special and one of a kind. He's one of our animal rescues, and he came from us to us from another family, and I think he had several homes before that. So he is kind of a hand-me-down animal. I don't know why, because he's perfect in every single way. This animal is one of my favorites, and I'm not a guinea pig person, but he is very special and very, very charismatic and sweet. And he does come to a lot of our programs, petting zoos, festivals, all sorts of things. He is super popular, very friendly, and loves to be pet. And right now I'm just holding him so you guys can see him. As you can see, he is a long-haired Peruvian guinea pig. So the Peruvian is his breed, and he's got long, straight hair, and it's quite messy right now. I do apologize. We brush him every single day, at least once a day, and he gets his bath once a week, and he needs the bath. You gonna get a bath after the show? He's like, bath. Yeah. It takes him a while to dry off too, so sometimes we have to blow dry. We always condition. He is very high maintenance, but super worth it. So guinea pigs are great pets, you guys. I do recommend guinea pigs for the right family. It's kind of like having a dog or a cat, though. You always want to do your utmost to take good care of them, take them to the vet when they need it. They don't need vaccines and things like that, but they do need to be cleaned up at least twice a day. They are very messy, as you can see down below. Yeah, that is just in the small amount of time that he's been hanging out with us. Lots and lots of pellet poop. These guys are rodents. They're also an animal that's active 20 hours a day. Oh, wow. They need a lot of space. They need a friend to hang out with, whether it's you all the time, which is probably not practical, or another guinea pig friend. They really do well with another guinea pig or several other guinea pigs. We have 4, and a group of guinea pigs is called a herd, just like cows. Yes, yes. So they live in groups called herds. Do you know where guinea pigs come from in the wild?
Is it Guinea?
Guinea is a great guess. But they don't come from Guinea.
Don't. Okay.
They don't. That is a great guess. That you're like, well, duh, Guinea.
I was like,
nope. Guinea's in Africa, right? And New Guinea is somewhere else. Yeah. But they don't come from Guinea or New Guinea. Huh. So the word Guinea in their name has to do with what they used to cost. As pets in the old days. So a guinea is like a currency, right? It's money in Europe. And that's what they used to pay 1 guinea, I believe, or 2 guinea for a guinea pig. And that's how they got the nickname. Guinea pig. But the pig part it's really confusing. Yeah. They're not pigs, they're rodents. They're related to mice and rats and squirrels. They are absolutely not a pig, but they kind of are pig shaped. They kind of reminded people of a pig. They have really strange little flower-like ears. It's really hard to see on Iggy, I do apologize. But they have kind of like flower petal ears that look like almost like a puppy. Yeah, you can totally move his hair so we can see. Yeah, why not? There's an ear that's covered by hair. There's one of his little cute ears. Kind of looks like a pig's ear that flaps over, right? Some pigs.
That's a little bit.
But also their noises. They do make pig-like squeals. Wee, 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 all the way home. And and they make all sorts. They make about 14 different vocalization noises, and that is to communicate with each other. And that is where the word pig comes from, and their name pig from the sounds. But they're rodents. But guinea pigs come from South America.
That's it. Okay.
They're actually in Peru is where they were originally domesticated by the Incas, the indigenous people down in Peru, right? But they were not domesticated for pets. They were domesticated for food. So these guys are livestock.
Oh, wow.
So another reason why they call them pigs. So it's pig, guinea pig. It's like a poor man's pig. The noises as well. I'm gonna hold him over here because he's getting a little uncomfortable with that position.
Or something like that.
Yeah. So they're basically don't listen, Iggy. They're basically a rat you can eat. Don't eat them, but that's what in Peru, they still eat them. They're farmed for food, and it's not really unnatural because they are a prey animal. Don't worry, Iggy's going to be our best friend for life. But that is where they originally started domesticating the wild version of the guinea pig, which was called the Kui or KV. Different names for them. It's very confusing. That animal in the wild is extinct. The original guinea pig does not exist anymore. Oh, wow. Isn't that interesting? So they domesticated them into a different species. Now there's different breeds because they don't all have long hair, do they? No. They have short hair, spiky hair. Some of them have curly hair. Some of them have afros. There's even one with no hair called a skinny pig. Skinny pig. It's just skin. They have like a little whiskers and things. Super cute. But he's my favorite breed, the Peruvian. Yes, I
I
know,
hear him.
buddy. You're so sweet. You can hear his little pig
Yeah.
noise. But they, like I said, don't exist in the wild anymore. But they're from South America. That's where the species is from, and they've been domesticated for over 5,000 years.
Oh wow.
I know.
They've been around for a while then.
Yeah. So
The same size.
yes, they've stayed the
Uh-huh.
same size pretty much, just different colors, different coat lengths and textures. Just like dogs. Dogs have a lot of different breeds, obviously, different colors. And again, this is an animal just like Ghost and Princess that you guys saw, our ball python. Not the same color in the wild. He doesn't look anything like the wild version. Back in the day when they still existed, the wild version had much longer legs. They could run a lot faster than these guys. These guys have short legs. They're fast, but not very fast.
Yeah.
Enough to kind of run a little bit, but very domesticated now. And they have short hair. They're all brown, kind of like a squirrel, like a common squirrel that you would see around here. If that makes sense, because they can blend into stuff. They're more of a natural color, like the earth, and faster.
Does he climb?
The ears actually are upright. They don't really climb, but they could like hop up on top of a log and like hop down. Definitely a ground animal, though. That's a good question. Now, these guys are eaten by almost everything in South America. There's all sorts of, and people too. There's all sorts of different predators that they have, right? Snakes, jaguars, birds of prey, crocodiles, all sorts of things eat the kui or KV in the wild. And that being said, I know the original one of these guys is extinct, but there's other versions of the KV. There's like different species that are still existing in the wild. That's how we know about their natural history. Pretty cool. He is super wonderful. You can pet him all you want. I'm just gonna hold on.
How old is he?
We don't know because he's a rescue. So we got him as an adult. So he was already like this age or the size, not this age, but he was the size when we got him about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And
How old
he's
do they
absolutely
get?
wonderful. They can live. I feel like the oldest one ever was like 11, but that's super ancient for a guinea pig. These guys usually live on average from like 4 to 8 at the very most. So,
is there any like illnesses that?
Yes. So a lot of them are not fed properly. That's usually where they meet their demise and become unhealthy. These guys should be on a mostly hay diet, just like horse. They eat mostly hay and other vegetables that we give them in the morning. We give them vegetables in the morning, just a little bit though. And these guys need vitamin C in their life. So if you don't give them enough vitamin C, they can become very sick. And that's usually where they don't do well in human care, right, buddy? But a lot of them, obesity is where they actually pass away. They get way too fat. People overfeed them. They make guinea pig pellets, just like rabbit pellets or horse pellets, but you should only feed them a little bit. In fact, for guinea pigs, it's 1/8 cup per day maximum per guinea pig. And that's it. That's more than enough food. Just like if you were feeding a horse, you don't give them like a whole bucket full of feed. That's too much food.
Right.
And they can get very sick to their stomach and things like that. So same thing with the guinea pig. These guys are grazers. They're up for 20 hours a day grazing on grass, like a cow or a horse. And they only sleep for 4 hours a day and little naps.
Do you ever let him outside in the
Not
grass?
really. When we do programs with them, we do, and they'll eat the grass. They love to munch on the grass. So they do a lot of outdoor shows and programs, petting zoo. We have like a special round pen that we set them up, as you know.
Yes.
And are you gonna lick he's licking my finger. That's really cute. It's like, do you have snacks? I will eat the snacks. So guinea pigs, I think, make really good pets. For the right person, they're not low maintenance. They're high maintenance, but they're sweet. They're actually very, very easygoing. They don't really mind being held and cuddled and things like that. Not like all the time, but give them breaks every now and then. But they're fully domesticated. They're not a wild animal, which is nice, like a dog or a cat. So very, very doable for the right family. We always recommend adopting a guinea pig before you shop at a pet store and looking for one that needs a home, because a lot of people impulse buy all kinds of animals, but you'll go to a pet store and they'll just impulse buy a guinea pig and then they're like, never mind, I don't want this anymore for my kid or whatever the case may be, or for themselves. And a lot of them end up homeless. So there are rescue organizations for dogs, cats, and guinea pigs, rabbits, all sorts of domestic animals. So you should look into that first. And that's how we got Iggy. Iggy actually just kind of happened to us, but we weren't looking for him, but I'm sure
he was looking for you.
He was looking for me. And I'll never let him go now.
So nuts and things, are they good with that, or that's not?
No, not really necessary in their diet. They can eat the seeds that are in vegetables, like peppers and things like that. But I think nuts and things like that would be too fatty for them. So no D's nuts for these guys. Animals like parrots can eat nuts sparingly for treats. What other animals eat nuts? Squirrels, obviously.
Right.
But that's probably why you asked, because they're squirrel-like.
Yeah.
But no, they're not as active, and they're active, but not as athletic as a squirrel. Squirrels are always burning energy all the time. Have you ever seen a squirrel? They're like on crack. They're on D's nuts all the time. Lots of energy. Squirrels don't just eat nuts; they eat all kinds of stuff, but vegetation. Squirrels actually eat meat too, depending on the species. Yeah, they'll eat like lizards and baby birds and eggs.
Something new, yeah.
Yeah,
but
they're not.
So
they're not the
Iggy, you said he's with other guinea pigs.
Yeah, we have a herd of 4 guinea pigs. 4. Yeah, and they're all boys. Boy guinea pigs are called boars, like a boy pig, and sows for females.
Oh,
like a pig.
But you would never put them together.
Not me personally, because I don't breed them, right? No. So I don't recommend doing that either if you're at home. You can get them spayed or neutered if you want to. With guinea pigs, though, you have to make sure and get the right vet, because they're very high risk under anesthesia. So most guinea pig professionals that I've met and talked to, they recommend just keeping them separated unless there's a medical reason for a spay or a neuter. It's not like a dog or a cat where they should always be spayed or neutered, in my opinion. Or even like a ferret or a rabbit. Those guys can definitely get spayed and neutered very easily with little consequences. These guys don't do very well under anesthesia. So you have to make sure, if you need to get them spayed or neutered for any reason, that you go to a vet that's very experienced with guinea pigs. So I did a lot of research. None of mine are neutered, but they're all boys. Yeah. So they're no babies. Yeah, they're pretty good together most of the time. Yeah.
Okay.
They have their moment.
What about their paws, or what do you call them?
Yeah, so they do his little foot. Feet, I guess. Yeah. They have very tiny feet. Yeah. So a guinea pig is roughly shaped like a potato underneath all this hair, right? And they have very slender little legs. They're not built for climbing at all, so moving him around, he's like, don't drop me. Toes. But they have tiny little feet.
4 toes up front, 3
and 3 in the back. That's right.
Look at that. So
they're direct relatives. It's in the KV family. All of those relatives have 4 in the front and 3 in the back. So, but they're all rodents as well. So rodent means they have the teeth that never stop growing, that they have to like chew on stuff, like a rats chew on things, right? And squirrels. All rodents have to chew. Their main way of keeping their teeth healthy is by eating the right food. So they eat the hay, and hay, by grazing, they're going to keep their teeth.
I see.
Rabbits the same way.
Okay. That's neat.
Great questions. Oh, Iggy, your hair is so silly. And
we had hamsters.
Another rodent. Yeah.
When we were younger.
I had one too.
Can't say that.
And gerbils.
There for though. They didn't. So yeah.
Well, hamsters already don't live very long.
No,
they don't. Okay. 2 is like pretty long life. So I don't know
I
don't know how long yours lived, but
no,
3 would be like ancient for a hamster.
No, one got out and then the other one passed because they missed that one.
Yeah, and I mean, you wouldn't believe how often I hear this, you guys, is people's sad pet stories, but that's why we exist. We want to educate you guys on not just the wildlife and like the axolotls, endangered species, all of that, but also pet care. We're very passionate about pet care because those animals matter too. Which is why we wanted to be part of Pet Fest and all of that too. I mean, that's just one reason. But I've always been super passionate about pets being very important. They're just as wonderful as wild animals too, and they deserve very good care, as good as you can give them. And not everybody should have them. Not everybody should have a pet or a guinea pig or a hamster. No. Because things can happen. You may not know, No. You're awfully cute.
I can see why he's Iggy.
Yeah, he's named after Iggy Pop. Yeah, the pop, the punk rocker, right? Iggy Pop.
That's awesome.
And then we have Dexter and Noodles from The Offspring. Okay. And then we have Billy Joe Armstrong. He's the last guinea pig that we have.
Nice.
You're going to meet all those guys after the show.
Love it.
Look at his little legs. Awesome. He's got one leg here and one leg on the other side of my arm, just hanging over. He's better than a dog.
Awesome.
And he's trying to eat my finger, but he's being very gentle. That's one thing about guinea pigs is they do have strong teeth, but they're not really known to bite because they're domesticated. They can bite, but usually they don't. They're actually pretty passive. He's just licking me, really, which is super adorable. But their mouth is very tiny, so they're not really, that's not their go-to for safety. In the wild, they rather just run away and get underneath something and feel safe in numbers, and that's really how they are. Because if they stop to try to bite a jaguar, it's not going to do anything, right? So,
and are they able to wink?
Yeah, they can definitely blink.
Wink, blink.
They can wink and blink. I'm pretty sure they can wink, but I know they can blink. He has eyelids too.
Yeah.
He likes his cheeks being scratched.
Aw.
Aww.
Oh, he's super
adorable.
sweet.
Well,
Super
it's been
sweet.
a lot of fun.
Yes.
I feel like we can talk all night.
Probably kept you over that hour.
Oh, don't
for
worry.
Sure.
Don't worry. Hey, let's check. Oh, yep. A little bit. Not too bad. No, we're doing
This
fine.
is so much fun.
We're doing fine. It's been a lot of fun. Oh yeah, here's the time. Whoa, we've gone way over. I hope you guys enjoyed it though. We had a lot of interaction with our audience tonight. I'm sure you guys are asleep by now, but thank you so very much for watching. Thank you, Sandra, for being here. It's been a lot of fun. You're welcome back anytime, literally anytime. And I think it's time to go tour our animal collection.
Yes.
That'll be behind the scenes, so maybe she'll take some photos with the animals after this.
Love
so
that.
look forward to that on social media. Well, you guys, it's been wonderful. We hope to see you next week with another special guest on the show next Wednesday, same time, same place, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. And we'll say goodbye. Everybody sing along.
We are nothing 'cause we're ordinary, but we love to be your friend. Hold our hands and let's have fun together, singing as loud as you can. Everybody singing once in a while, together. Once in a while, I wanna hear you say once in a while. That's the fun for me and you.
Okay, you guys, we'll see you next week. And thank you for being here. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.